or more than just a massage. So these are some of the things that I work with couples on, and a large part of that has to do with spending a lot of time understanding where the problem came from, and then also how to start making repairs. I think in one of my previous videos, I talked about the importance of truthfulness and listening. And now I want to just spend a little bit more time talking about time, right? It's about allowing things to slowly, you know, kind of be sorted out so that you can get the information that you need. So, um, let me just go ahead and talk a little bit about maybe some different types of couples and where I see their progress going. So I've had some couples that come in and the stress is so great, the crisis is so huge that the motivation for the person that's done the betrayal is so high that they are willing to start, doing so many different things in order to try to get the system back in balance in order to help the partner who might be having all kinds of emotional, psychological, spiritual, relationship kinds of issues going on. And so, in order to try to help stabilize that partner, the other part of that is that the person that has a problematic behavior, acting out in various ways or obsessing on things like the online adult video stuff, that individual also needs to work specifically on how to contain their behavior and how to extinguish it. And so they actually are working on two different parts. And the amount of pressure of just two different things at the same time is just really overwhelming. And so the motivation is go in, check the boxes, get everything done. The problem with get in, check the boxes, get everything done is it probably looks like a lot of other things that you've done in the past where you've come in and said, I won't ever do this again. Or maybe you had a period of, positive, healthy relationship and connection. And then, boom, all of a sudden you're back to some of the behavior that you had in the past. So, a good example might be a couple that came in and maybe they noticed that there was some problems when they were dating. Maybe the partner was talking to several other people at the same time. And, when they were caught, the couple had a discussion and decided they were going to continue their relationship with the promise of this isn't going to happen again. And then later, maybe 2 or 3 years in, there's several kids, there's high levels of stress at work, there's, this distance within the relationship so that there's more and more disconnection. That might, give opportunity for the door to be open towards cheating. And not saying everybody does that, but for some people, that's the solution in the moment. It's an immediate gratification thing. The other side of the acting out behavior is that seeking out some type of behavior like that also provides you with like a dopamine hit. It's a chemical reaction inside your brain, and your body enjoys that. And so then you have to start thinking about, well, if he enjoys that, is it specifically with other people or is it actually with me if you're the betrayed partner? So, okay, so I've talked about like the checking the box and rushing things. I think the other side is the person that's been betrayed needs a period of time to sort through their feelings and to start to feel like they're having a sense of safety in the relationship, because when there's been a house of cards that has been built on lies, then it really doesn't um, give a person an opportunity to figure out, is their partner being honest with them or not, because they thought they were being honest for 5 years, 10 years, 2 weeks, however long you were with this person. And so this lack of judgment or this misjudgment, now it's on the person that's been betrayed. They have to start thinking, what did I miss? Why didn't I see this? Um, you know, did I see this and decide to ignore it? Is this going to happen again? So many questions start popping through the mind of the person that's been betrayed, that the only answer for that is to allow those questions to be answered or to slowly decrease to the point where, there's time where people feel ready to start building trust again. So, yeah, you don't necessarily want to rush recovery. You want it to go along in at a pace that is is going to give you valuable and valid results at the end. And, by valid, I'm not saying 100% guaranteed, no more cheating, but just that there's a committed effort. And a lot of that has to do with spending time understanding what is the problem, assessing what kinds of things are underlying with this problem, working on addressing things that might have contributed to the problem. So making some changes in an individual's lifestyle, in an individual's environment, maybe even their work. There's so many things that need to be looked at to determine, hey, should big changes happen, and is that something that can be done in a month? Um, yeah, I don't think so. Is it something that can be done in a couple of months? That's really pushing it, but you can begin to see some of the changes that you need to see. Um, Honestly, it takes people sometimes, um, a couple of years. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to pertain to you. It kind of depends on how long has this problematic behavior been around. It also depends on how committed both partners are in trying to make a change. And, there's other components necessary. So, length of time, you just want to make sure rather than looking at quantity of time that you're looking at quality of um, participation and learning and practicing all of the things that need to get um, done in order to heal. So again, consider searching for a certified sex addiction therapist. I spent a lot of time and effort and money and all kinds of things to get that training, and so take advantage of that. Find somebody that can give you the pathway a little bit more quickly than kind of trying to do it on your own. Now, do you have to use a CSAT? No. Do you have to use a coach? No. But sometimes instead of walking around in the dark hoping that you can actually accomplish something, having a guide or somebody that can illuminate the way for you is preferable. Time is of the essence in terms of trying to get things restabilized. Relationships go in, after discovery, as in there's crisis. We're all extremely emotional. Anything can happen. We don't even know if we like each other, if we want to stay together. Then you go to stabilization. This is the point where you say, hey, I'm working on myself as the person that has the problem behavior. And hey, I'm working on myself as the person that was harmed by the behavior. And then after a length of time where things seem to be stable and people feel more comfortable with who they are and what their commitments are, then you get to go to this last section, which is the piece where you start to restabilize the relationship and reconnect, where you start to feel safe, that you feel like you can be vulnerable and that a connection is beneficial to you versus feeling like, if I connect, am I putting myself at risk? So again, look for a professional that's already working in this field. But if you don't have that, do research, find a free webinar, a podcast. Look online for anything that might provide you with more information. And my goodness, there are so many books out there that can help guide you. And if you don't understand exactly what those books might offer you, or you don't understand if they're the correct books, because you can find some that will say anything. Probably one of my favorite books that I've been using recently, all bookmarked in here, it's kind of worn out. But for partners, we've been using Michelle Mays's book, The Betrayal Bind, and she has written this based on her own personal experience and the fact that um, women or men, whoever's been harmed, can take a good look at themselves and kind of get this sense of normalizing, that you're not the only one that has to struggle with something like that, and that, that you can put yourself in a mode to where you're working hard and feeling better, like I said, about yourself. For the men, I like to use this other book. It's called Facing the Shadows. This is like the beginner book. This is like the very beginning of a 12-step program, that is for sex addiction and recovery. Now, if you've had an affair, does that mean you're a sex addict? I don't know. That really depends on the person that's assessing you. And no, not everybody that's had an affair necessarily needs to be working from this kind of book. But if there's some difficulties in connecting in relationships or understanding the dynamics of how to have healthy communication and things like that, it might be of benefit for you to use Facing the Shadows by Dr. Patrick Carnes. So those are just a few of the books. I'm actually probably going to do more of an extensive review on some of these so that you get to see and experience them for yourself. So thank you very much. If you need to locate me in any way, go ahead and leave me a message, or you can actually go to my website and drop a contact request for me, and I will try to reach back out to you through phone or through emails, and offer you as much support as I can when you're dealing with something as serious as this. Thank you.